Got it. Okay, so there's always a delay right there. Hold on, let's just see what happens here. Where it says you are live. Is it live there? It says you're streaming live now. Okay, let me just go back here. Let me make sure that this is muted on Facebook. Hello, 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 I Love Coaching community. You have myself, Adam Roach, and Shannon Dager here. We are both coaches inside the I Love Coaching tribe. Hold on, I'm getting this all set up here on Facebook. All right, we'll just leave it alone. Okay, great. We're going to do this via Zoom here. So, Shannon, welcome to Monday Mojo in the I Love Coaching community.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here. Monday Mojo.
Tell all of our community members who Shannon is. You've been posting in the community. Thank you very much. And you're getting some engagement there. But who's Shannon? Help us out real quick.
So I'm a wife and a mom and a soon-to-be grandma, first and foremost. And I am a coach with I Love Coaching. I absolutely love coaching and talking to our great agents that are out there. Previously, I was in a regional position, teaching systems and on technology, and also a team leader with a major brokerage. And so enjoyed that quite a bit. Prior to that, I owned a business that I sold after about 20 years and joined real estate and fell in love with coaching as much as I possibly can. Yes,
absolutely. And you're going to continue to love it because that's the name of it. I Love Coaching. Okay.
That's a perfect name, really.
Monday Mojo, gang, thank you all for jumping in here with us. This is live, this is raw, this is organic. And Shannon and I wanted to come to you today and talk to you about how to grow your database to 3,000 people. That's a big number.
Yeah, that's what you got to be at.
That's where they say you have to be, right? That's where they
minimum,
say,
right? Like that's minimum.
If you are going to play in this space of real estate, you need to grow. Oh, you know what? Let's pause that. I think that can transcend industry, right? If you're going to grow your business, you must have a database of a minimum 3,000, right? We were on a coaching call, coaches. Yes, that's right. We were getting coached up last Friday by, in my opinion, one of the best coaches on the planet. And he was sharing this with us. He was saying that 3,000 is the number to shoot for. So let's dissect this 3,000. What would you say to someone listening right now, Shannon? Should they go get 3,000 Mets? Should they go get 3,000 haven't Mets? By the way, Mets and haven't Mets means people you know, people you don't know, right? What would you suggest there? And we can talk through this organically.
I mean, obviously, if we can have 3,000 people that we've met and we keep in touch with on a regular basis, and you can go do that tomorrow, that's great. Wonderful. Most people can't do that, right? And so you got to think a little bit about where you can get 3,000 names and then kind of grow that and enrich that database quite a bit. So
yeah, it would be great to have 3,000 Mets, wouldn't it?
I mean, it would be great, but I mean, it's a lot to keep up with, and most people can't just do that. Yeah.
Right. Actually, what was the number? Do you remember the number in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book? Was it 1920 that they said back in the day to have Met database people?
That's right. Yep.
Net millionaire. Yeah, 1,900. So let's talk about how to grow your database to 3,000. Okay, so what do a lot of realtors do right now? They pay for leads, right?
They pay for leads. That's right. They pay for leads. And I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, and that starts to build their database.
It does. It does. If you get the right information put in, and it's very expensive, and it's, very, very costly. And a lot of times that information is not accurate, but it is a beginning, and it does definitely deplete your profits. And so you have to make sure that that's in line as well.
I love it. And that's a fascinating part. And we heard this, we've heard this many different ways. However, there's not a lead problem. It's a conversion problem.
That's right.
But that's a whole nother conversation. We're talking about 3,000 people in the database. So let's talk about the how. So we can go buy leads, right? Which will come into our database, and depending on how much money we're spending, they'll come in droves, right? So that's one way. Let's talk about what we just talked about. By the way, Shannon and I just recorded an I Love Coaching podcast. Wait till that drops on Wednesday, everybody. You're going to want to listen to it. You can actually go get team members and take their database and put it into your database, right?
Yep, that 100%. I mean, most teams do that, right? You bring on a new team member, they bring in their list and their sphere, and they start putting that into their database. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
do circle prospecting. You can buy neighborhood lists.
Yes. Where do you know where they could buy neighborhood lists? I mean, there's many different places.
There's a lot. I mean, I think the number one is Cole, is what I hear most people go through. Cole Realty. Bolton. There's a lot of different sources that people will buy them through. But I mean, you can instantly get to 3,000 that way really quickly.
Your conversion rate is probably gonna be low though.
Probably. And your data may not be accurate.
That's right.
So you have to work through that.
So we've got bought leads, we've got bringing in talent or bringing in people onto your team. One of the ones that I think we should really talk about that I believe is a lost art is farming.
Yep.
I think farming is the best, maybe not the best, but it's definitely one of the best ways to build your database to 3,000 people.
Yep.
Do you remember what our coach was telling us last Friday about farming? How to grow a farm to 3,000 people?
What specifically? No, you lead me down that road.
Yeah. Number one, he said it's the cheapest.
Oh, it is for sure the cheapest. And it's probably the better conversion rate, because if you're farming, you're connecting. Right. And so for sure it's the cheapest, probably, increases your conversion ratio.
I mean, think about this too. If I'm gonna compare bought leads to farming, right? So from a bought lead standpoint, sure, you can pay to have a specific zip code, right? Because that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a specific zip code for a specific price, and those leads are gonna come from that specific area. What's the difference between that and farming? Farming, you can do the exact same thing.
Talk about farming, Adam, for people who don't know what farming is. What are examples of farming that you would suggest?
Yeah, absolutely. Farming is finding a geographic location, finding a geographic area that you intend to become the category king, if you will, in that space. You intend to become the market share king or queen in that space. That's farming. Now, farming then goes to a little bit deeper. You can go geographic. You can go neighborhood, you get a little bit smaller, which is kind of geographic. And you can get really purposeful and intentional based on price points, based on turnover rates, right? There's many different ways of looking at farming a specific area of haven't met. These are people you don't know, right?
Right. You're introducing your brand and you to a very intentional area.
Yes. Okay, let's keep talking about this. This is fun. So farming, you're going to go in there, and how would they get the data? Let's just talk about that. How do they get data of a specific area?
I mean, outside of purchasing it through one of those systems, you can door knock.
Yep. Love it.
And that's great. I did one this weekend where I maintained a booth at the convention center in my neighborhood and talked to everybody that came through. Anybody and everybody. She shook their hand and said hello.
Do you know? So when I lived in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, door knocking is illegal in Beverly Hills.
I did not. That does not surprise me. I did know some communities are funny about it.
So I wanted the whole area though, right? I wanted to farm the whole area. And at the time I was also teaching tennis. So I thought, what's the best way for me as a tennis pro and realtor to get into these homes that I couldn't door knock on? Guys, we're about to get illegal, and that's okay. Don't turn me in. This was a long time ago. We do crazy stuff when we're kids, right? So I created a company called Beverly Hills Court Maintenance, and we would maintain the private tennis courts of these homes. Now, I didn't know how to get their addresses at the time, so this is what I did. Beverly Hills has alleyways, right? And so I would take a tennis ball, and I'd put my Beverly Hills Court Maintenance, we had a little postcard. I would put a rubber band around it, and I would put my realtor business card, and I'd walk down the alleys and I'd throw it over the fences into their tennis courts.
Oh, wow. That's creative. Did that generate you leads?
Well, it did generate me almost a stint in the jail cell. Yeah, I did have a cop twice stop me and say, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just tossing these balls back." He says, "Well, there's some paper on those balls. What are they?" And I said, "Okay, fine, you got me." And he says, "Don't do this again. That's illegal." And maybe I did it 2 weeks later after that. A different cop stopped me, so I didn't go to jail. Nevertheless, I did generate some traffic. People called me. Yeah, people called me.
Well, it is interesting and thinking outside the box.
Yeah,
I mean, it is very creative.
Yeah. Now, it didn't get me to 3,000 though, but it did get me in the doors for building relationships in those communities. Yeah.
Yeah.
So door knocking is one way. An event. What if you had an event?
I love the hyper local events
Yes.
that everybody's talking about right now. When we just got back from a conference and people were talking about how they have monthly dog park events, and just everything's all around animals. And that's the way they get to know everybody. And now they're kind of known for their things around animals. They post pictures with a dog every single day, on their website. Or they host, a first time home buyer beers and buys at the local brewery. Type of event. So yeah, those are great ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the key there is doing it consistently.
Yes.
And that's what you have to, you can't do it one time and measure success for that and expect to have turnover, but doing it consistently month over month, and people see that brand being built, then your name becomes known for that. And known for being out there.
Now, the individual we were working with on Friday also said, as you start to develop and build this farm, right? So if we look at a nurture lead from a bought, if we look at a lead from a bought source and it's a haven't met, that nurture process can last roughly 12 months, right?
Yeah.
If not longer. Same thing in the farming space, which it doesn't cost you as much money, though we were starting talking about touches. Right. And again, we'll reference the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book again. And it says you should touch that database 12 times to have roughly a 50-to-1 return. What we were talking about on Friday was, how can we touch them over 100 times, right?
Right.
Over 100 times. And I think this goes back to the point that you were just said there, is becoming that brand awareness, right? Becoming that top of mind business that this farm now looks to for that specific area of expertise, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think you have to have a system for following up on these. Let's say it's an event. So it's an event, you put it out there, you let them know that the event's coming, you let them know the event's tomorrow, you let them know what to bring to the event, what you're bringing to the event, you send pictures out, then you follow up, you talk to them at the event, then you follow up from the event, then you follow up and thank them for the event, then you follow up and tell them about the next event. And so there has to be a system of touches that goes through that, in addition to some of the other, collateral material and systems that you have. So it allows you to just really be totally ingrained in their, their neighborhoods and in their mind.
I was just thinking, and again, this just popped into my head. There's an app. Have you ever heard of this app called, let's see here, hold please, Land Glide?
Land Glide, I have it. Tell me about it. I haven't had it. I'm going to actually write it down myself.
It's the best app. All right, check this out. So here we go. I'm showing it right here. So I can actually move my cursor to this home. Let's just say this home right here. I can click on it and check this out. It tells me who owns the home. It tells me clearly their address. It tells me their mailing address, right? And it even tells me, where is it? They've moved it. It tells me the last time this actual parcel changed hands, period, right?
That's pretty cool.
Land Glide, yes. And so again, it might be a little labor intensive. It doesn't matter though. If you're looking to gain market share in that one area, take it to a VA, give it to a VA, give it to an intern, and let them sit there and write down everywhere or input the data somewhere to capture that of your specific new farm area that you want to go play in.
You reminded me when you had that, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't remember the app's name. And so if somebody is watching this and they know this app, please put it in the comments. And if not, then I'll go back and find the name. There are some apps out there that as you door knock, you can actually put notes in there as to what happened. So you can put the door knock so that you say, listen, knocked on the door, met a woman with a small dog, she wouldn't open the door. Well, guess what? The next time you come, you have a dog treat, or you remember that, or they call the dog. So you have the notes in there, or say, we talked about this and they were running to their child's softball game. Next time you come, you can say, how'd the softball game go?
Right.
You remember those details, which is what is also really cool and makes it much deeper. Yeah,
that's really, really, really good. Okay, so let's see. I think we've been going for about 15 minutes here. This is good Monday Mojo. This is good information. So gang, this is what we want you to do. Go look at your database, right? Go look at your database and see how large it is right now. There's no judgment in the size of your database. Just know that your goal should be to get it to at minimum 3,000 people. And then as Coach Shannon said, you got to find a systematic way to touch that database.
I will
right?
say one thing that happened with our coaching last week that I was surprised at is when we asked how many times people are touching, most of the agents said, I would say between 12 and 20 times.
Yes.
We all know that you have to touch them, 36 is our goal, at least minimum. And almost everybody said 12 to 20 times. And so if you want to stay top of mind, I promise you somebody is touching them more than that. And if you do not put a system in place, somebody else is going to jump in between the last time you touch them, and they're going to be in a convenient spot. And while they may not take your sphere of influence, they're going to take some business away from you if you do not constantly stay top of mind and stay consistently in touch with your database. It's probably one of the hardest things that we have to do. But once you get a good system in place, it should just roll for you.
And that's the key, in my opinion, too, Shannon, is the consistency and the automation of it.
100%, because I have agents that are in coaching that have 15,000 contacts. I mean, if you're not touching them, what difference does it make? Doesn't matter to me. If you, whatever the number of your database is, whether it be 100 or 3,000, I want you to go to 3,000. I want to grow you to 3,000, but I want you to have the system of systematically touching them a lot and in a purposeful way. So in a way that brings you respect and legitimacy and draws interest as well.
So let's define that real quick, and we'll end this way, because this was, I mean, my notes kept going as he continued to talk about this. What company do we know that touches us the most, right? And he was saying it's Amazon. Amazon touches us the most. Now, here's what he went on to say. Well, let's just play with some fun numbers here. So if we took 3 times, he was saying a day, 3 times a day. So 3 times a day times 365 is nearly 1,100 touches. Okay, and maybe it's not that. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. Here's the proof in the pudding. Jeff Bezos is the 2nd richest man in the world, and he touches you the most.
He figured out a way to make a system that touches you all the time, but you don't know he's touching you.
Correct.
Like for a long time, how many of us didn't know why, when we got on Facebook, the thing that we had just last talked about or scrolled about was popping up? Now everybody has figured that out, right? But he figured out a way to do it without being in your face, but being very intentional and constantly there. So we have to work on that as agents as well, is being intentional with our touches.
Well, and to your point too, right? I think you said this probably about 10 minutes ago, is when we order a package from Amazon, they tell us it'll be shipped tomorrow as soon as we order it.
Right.
Then it's shipped and they tell us. Then on the same day, they tell us it's on the way. Then it arrives and they tell us it arrived. Then after it has arrived, they ask for feedback. And then after the feedback email comes, hey, listen, because you bought X, we think you would like Y.
We think you should buy this, right?
Yes. And right there is at least 6 or 7 touches in as many days, right?
Yeah. It's a very good system, and it's very intentional, but it also leaves you feeling cared about. Because when they're touching you and they're getting all their points in, but you're also like, oh, they care what I think. They want my feedback. And they're empowering that, putting that, in your space as a customer. Like I can say I didn't enjoy it. I can say it. And so that makes you feel heard. And so, it's a brilliant system.
So this is what I would challenge. And I jokingly say this to all of our clients all the time, the I Love Coaching tribe, is I challenge you this year to go get a restraining order, right? How many restraining orders can you get this year? I guarantee you won't get one if you're touching your database over and over and over. No one's going to say, oh my gosh, Shannon is touching me way too much. And I'm in her real estate database. No one, right? How many restraining orders does Jeff Bezos have from his customers, right? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not gonna say I know the answer.
I think your restraining order is the unsubscribe button. But because what they're getting and what they're giving you is important, most people don't unsubscribe. And so because the information is important, you want to know about your package, you want to know about that. And truthfully, you do want to know about those sister products and brother products that are out there that you want it, so you don't unsubscribe.
Gosh, and I bought so many of those sister and brother products. Daggone it.
And even if you do unsubscribe, you still remember the name, right? That's the thing. And the next time you look and you order, you've resubscribed. So,
because there's Amazon trucks everywhere too now. We see that way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're getting a little off course here, but nevertheless, guys, here's what we want you to hear: 3,000 and touch them as much as Amazon does, and we guarantee you. I'm gonna put a guarantee stamp. Boom. I Love Coaching guarantee there. You'll do extremely well in your business. Yep, extremely well. Okay, Shannon, thanks for joining me on Monday
Thanks.
Mojo. This has been fun.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
fun.
absolutely. Okay, we will end this way. A couple different things. If you want to come play with us, great. Go to ilovecoachingco.com and push that red button and come play with us. If you want to come check out an event that we're having tomorrow, go to neverchaseagain.com. It's going to be incredible. If you're a recruiter, if you're a leader, if you're someone that is looking for talent, go to neverchaseagain.com. Otherwise, we will be back here next Monday for next Monday's Monday Mojo. Shannon, thank you.
Sounds good. Yep.
Okay, see you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.